Welcome to Aligned to Impact, the podcast where conscious leadership meets bold entrepreneurship. I'm your host, Summer Huntington, and each week we dive deep with founders, innovators, and thought leaders who are rewriting the rules of business from the inside out. Here we talk mindset, brand, content, culture, the real stuff behind building a legacy-driven business that doesn't burn you out. No filters, no fluff, just real conversations that inspire aligned action and intentional impact. If you're a visionary leader ready to create with purpose, grow with integrity, and lead with your heart, you're in the right place. Let's get into it.
Yeah, and one of the most important thing is if you want to create, really amazing content, is just focus mainly on the audio and the video editing part. The camera, you don't need to spend thousands of dollars on a camera. As long as you have a good audio and a good editing, those two will go very well and hand to hand.
Big warm welcome to Nima Yazdani. Nima is the founder of Seta Meditate, and I'm just so grateful that you're here. Thanks so much for taking the time to chat with us today on Aligned Impact.
Appreciate it, Summer, and appreciate for having me on your platform. And I also saw a lot of great things you're doing on your platform too, so appreciate it.
Yeah. This whole podcast is about creating an intersection between mental health and physical movement and yoga. And so the conversation that we're about to have is going to be pretty profound. I'm excited to dive in. So my first question for you is, before building Seta Meditate, the app, you had a background as an athlete. How has that journey, both the discipline and the challenges, really shaped your perspectives on meditation, performance, and inner mastery?
Yes, inner master, big question, big word. So kind of going back into the roots, Summer, is I was an athlete, training 3 times a day, usually around 4 a.m., 3 p.m., and then 7 p.m. again. And one of the challenges I faced as an athlete is maintaining your body and your mind, especially when you're training a lot. Your mind just shuts down after a second workout, or even a second workout, or waking up at 4 a.m. And my body was going through a lot of injuries as well. You're training and you're performing as a basketball player, and one of the things that I was facing is, mental health and also physical health was declining. Even though I was training and eating healthy, it was not optimal. And then I started adding a little bit of yoga in there, my mix. And then I was starting to take 1 class per day and then 2 class per day. And I was, really liking how my body felt. And the yoga classes was ending in meditation. Really loved that. So that kind of, made me to think about adding this more in my lifestyle as I was kind of going my career. And I was also a business student. So I was studying business too. And then athletic and sports was, kind of going away in my life. And I really liked, the field of entrepreneurship and yoga and meditation. So that's when I kind of, put things together. I was facing my challenges, and that's where kind of Seta Meditate started out as a initially a yoga platform, but then transitioned into meditation and mental fitness.
Thank you so much for sharing that story about how you went from being a physical athlete, just really, it sounds like you might have been like even overtraining and just really feeling the
Yeah.
detrimental effect of staying in that high intensity zone all the time. And it sounds like your nervous system just really responded super well to the down regulation of the yoga and the meditation. Would you say that is kind of what happened?
Yeah, well, I had a lot of recovery time, and when training a lot, for me, I look at Kobe Bryant. He was always also training 3 times a day. He suffered injuries too. So I was, yes, overtraining, burning out and all that stuff. And then the meditation part was really just a recovery. Both it was anti-inflammatory for the mind and the body too. So it kind of gave like a breathing time for me to kind of recover. And that's where things was clicking for me as a business student. I was like, oh, this is really awesome. I want to pursue this.
Absolutely. My background is in performance coaching, and when you implement the recovery like you're talking about, it actually helps the athlete really maximize their performance because they kind of have like a peak. They go through hitting it really hard and then taper. It's like a tapering effect. You taper and then you come back with even better performance. Can you share a bit about your role as founder and CEO at Seta Meditate and how it ties into the bigger picture of what the technological and mindset mission is at your company?
Yeah, initially starting, Seta, it was just, yoga platform. I was doing a lot of the work myself, execution work. And then as our team started growing, transitioning to meditation and now mental fitness app, We were having around, a lot more team members on our board, and one of the things that I do on a daily basis is just decision making. And one thing that I've, trained myself to do is make quick decisions. And the more you make quick decisions and right decisions, eventually you get closer to your goal. So initially, I was spending, a lot of time for our office, for example, spending 15 minutes on deciding what kind of water bottle should I buy, and then I noticed that's too much time spending on the little things. You got to keep on pushing things and focus on the big picture, and just buy the one with the glass bottle and just move forward to the next thing. So make quick decisions, and move things forward faster, get execution done right. And what I like to call also operation excellence is make sure everyone is working optimally, everyone's emotions are in check in the company, and how can we move things move faster.
What you just described with making the best decision quickly, it's a term we use, I'm sure you're familiar, but flow state, when you turn off the inner critic or the prefrontal cortex and go into like hypofrontality. Do you
Yeah.
guys study flow state or use that in the app at all?
We don't use it in the term flow state, but when you're in our app, our focus is just to block a 15-minute time for your mental health, which it gets you ready to get into your flow state, whatever comes afterward or before. So, for example, if you want to sleep, then you meditate, you get into, your state of, now sleeping. Or if you want to go train as an athlete, you meditate before you get into the athletic, performance a lot faster when you meditate.
My gosh, I love this. So any activity that you do, you can essentially use the Set Meditate app to prime the nervous system to be more present in the body, grounded in the mind, to be able to do that activity optimally. Is that how it works?
Yeah, and that's what, not just Seta meditation, but a lot of, meditation just in general is used for. We have a lot of different categories like sleep, productivity, mental health, and mindfulness and relationship too. And meditation is great to start everything and get into your state, whatever you want to do. Exactly. Like if you want to perform, we have, for example, a meditation for athletes where you can kind of take a 15-minute or even 5-minute class and then just get ready and dive into whatever you're doing.
Wow. So you could be doing little 15-minute meditation challenges, for example, like multiple times a day, like 4 to even 8 times a day to prep for each activity.
Yes, and so what we do on our platform is initially when a user gets on board, is we provide a mental health assessment for them through our onboarding. We ask a lot of questions about their life and how they're spending time, and their favorite people as well, so we can get an understanding about what kind of goals they have. And then based on that, we provide a personalized challenge, which is basically come and practice 15 minutes a day, and get to a state of mind where you want to kind of achieve your next goal.
It's so cool. I love that you've gamified it. You've created challenges. It sounds like a little meditation coach just in your pocket. I love it.
Exactly.
What does a typical day look like for you as the leader of Set and Meditate?
That's a great question. Typically wake up around 4:30 or 5 a.m. And what I like to do in the morning is eat a little bit of sea moss. That's kind of my morning routine is start off with some sea moss. I prepare that every month. But in a day, it's basically wake up in the morning, answer some Slack messages. We have a global team, so I work on people in India that might have messages that I have to get back to, and then go to the gym. And I start my gym with my co-founder. We train together, and then the rest of my day is spending time with her. And she's amazing, and she has a background in Apple and tech, and grew up in India. So spend a lot of time, working with her, and just supporting her, because every now and then she comes up with really great ideas. I'm like, yes, we should do that. And sometimes they're not great, but we should try everything and see what works.
And how do you integrate your own meditation practice into your workflow?
Yeah, in meditation and mindfulness and work, what I really like to focus on is our team, because everyone goes through some sort of personal challenge in life, and that usually gets translated to work. It's not like what people say, there's your work life, your personal life, it's all connected. So what I focus on is with our team is I always kind of casually ask, how are things going in life? How is, how's your dog and how's your weekend? I kind of get like a background, create like a mental profile of, how is their life going on. So I can be a little bit mindful about, what I'm going to kind of, direct them or tell them to do so that it's not maybe too harsh or if I'm not adding too much work on their plate. But usually I add, somewhat 10% above their, what they can handle. So, we're pushing things forward too. But at the same time, be mindful that everyone has something going on in their life.
And I'm specifically asking for your own meditation practice. Like, do you use the app? Like, how many times a day do you use it? Like, morning, middle of the day? I'm just curious how you use the app and then how it affects your own productivity and leadership.
Yes, I typically use when we're building our new version of our app, but currently I use it when I wake up. So after I eat my CMOS, that's kind of when I meditate before I start even look at my Slack. That's when I kind of take a 15-minute meditation. Usually I like my productivity classes on our app a lot more. That's what I go to because there's, a lot of things I can take away from that class and then have it in my day during the day. I can practice some of that. But usually with a 15-minute meditation.
And you guys are based out of Silicon Valley, which is a very
Yeah.
high productivity place, especially for tech. So I would imagine a lot of your people on your team are probably really gravitating towards those productivity meditations.
Yeah, we have a couple team members in Silicon Valley, but we have a lot of team members in the US and India, and a little bit global team. But yeah, we have to focus a lot on productivity. It's a little bit different kind of vibe in Silicon Valley, pushing things, going forward faster.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like the mecca for all the apps that are coming out, and it's really cool that you guys have made such a unique one. So actually, back to the app, for somebody that downloads the Seta Meditate app, what's the transformation that you're aiming to facilitate with the user? And how long does it take to achieve transformation?
Yeah, well, as I mentioned, when the user comes on board, we provide a mental health assessment. A lot of questions we ask them, their favorite people and what time they like to meditate and all that stuff, their stress levels. And in that assessment, there's their stress level, their motivation level, and their personality type. We get all these data, and then based on that, we provide a personalized plan, whether if it's their goal is to make their sleep better or their productivity better or have a better relationship with someone. So, based on that, we provide a plan, which is usually a 28-day challenge. And the challenge is basically practice once a day. So, once you practice once a day, you can't take the next day's class. You have to practice the next day, the next day. It's continuous. And the transformation goal is within 28 days that you can see some sort of benefits from your life, either in, your relationship or sleep, whatever the goal is. You should start seeing that around a week or two after, but the 28th day is just to build a habit. And that's what we focus on, is building a habit for the user.
Nice. And do you do another retest to see what markers have changed in that 28 days? Like what happens after the 28 days to keep going?
Yeah, after the 28 days, then the user can start signing up for challenges they like. We have a variety of challenges which are community based. And there's, for example, we have focus challenge or we have sleep challenge, and these are date-based challenges. For example, the challenge starts on April 30th or May 1st, and then everyone signs up for this challenge, and you have the ability to add your friend on the platform too, and have them kind of be an accountability partner on your platform and kind of nudge them or they nudge you if you didn't practice. So that kind of is the fun part, is now there's a community piece to it as well.
I think that's so key. I have two training buddies that we go to the gym together 3 or 4 days a week, and just having that community support where we're
Mhm.
checking in with each other, seeing how it's going is a really big piece of making it a long-term habit, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. And one thing is that we avoid, unwanted nudges in the app, because once you meditate, I can't nudge, for example, you can't nudge me anymore. I already did my practice today. You can't, bother me anymore. So that's kind of the key thing we added in there. We noticed the problem too.
Nice. Avoiding unwanted nudges, guys. That is that is a very unique term I've actually never heard before, but I love that you're consciously making sure that you're only getting nudged if you haven't meditated.
Gotta be mindful, yeah.
What major shifts are you seeing in the meditation and mindful tech space right now, especially around commercial wellness, spiritual integrity? What are you seeing in this space right now?
Um, a lot of industries and apps are starting to use AI as in their apps, in some sort of way. and a lot of them don't know why they're using it. They just want to use it because it's AI. And we have some things that we're working with AI down the line, but what we focus on is not to implement AI. Especially in Silicon Valley, AI is almost in every app that comes out now, and it's been a more of a marketing term than a something that's useful for the user. So we focus a lot more on great classes, a great platform, and a habit changing features that we have. For example, challenges and medals and friends and accountability. We focus on the simple things and making those really perfect.
Yeah, I've definitely met with quite a few people in a similar space that are integrating AI. And so it's interesting that you've taken a stand to not integrate AI, and
Yeah.
especially being in Silicon Valley. Can you explain a little bit more about that?
Yeah, it's not that we're not integrating AI. We're doing it differently that will help the user in different ways. We have some bigger plans later. But for example, for us, AI is, finding a class. If a user is searching for a class, how can we make the search a lot easier? Not just to add a chat bot in our app and just, say, hey, here's a bot and how and make it more simple. That's what a lot of apps are doing. So we just focus on the simple tool and making the tools habit changing, and that's the value we bring to the user.
Gotcha. That makes total sense. So, as you probably know, there's a lot of mindfulness apps out there. It's becoming a more crowded landscape. How has that impacted your growth strategy, and how do you differentiate Seta meditate in a saturated market?
Yeah. The market is almost, I would say, a lot of markets are crowded, and especially right now. Um, and in this space, for example, if you take Calm or different platforms, they focus a lot on making so many tools in an app and adding so many different things into an app. So, for example, adding celebrities, adding different things that to attract users, but it's the value on our platform that is different than other people. We focus on the habit changing part, and which is good for them that they have a lot of celebrities, but we focus on curated classes, and great features, and focusing on the habit building part, which is come to our platform 15 minutes a day and take a break so that your mind can recover, you can build mental resilience and train your mind to be mentally more fit.
Nice. So you're keeping it simple. It's focused on behavioral change, habit forming, and actually getting the result versus like fancy bells and whistles.
Yes, yeah.
All right. What's working really well in the business right now? And where are you feeling friction or resistance, either from a user base, tech development, or brand perspective?
One thing that we're facing a challenge is staying on timeline with our releases of the app. We have our version 1 already out. It's available. You can take classes, but our version 2 is now going to be very out really the challenge feature part of it. And getting that out the door has been, a lot of work, a lot of sleepless nights working with dev team and marketing and aligning everything. So that's, the biggest challenge of running an app for any kind of company is, especially that you're new, is staying on timeline because you don't know how long things will take, especially when you get into detail. So that's one thing that's been, a big challenge with, getting things out. But our focus would be next to get people on the app, and the next, we're actually launching today and tomorrow with our challenge feature. So probably by the time, people see this already, it's already out.
Awesome. And where can people find the app?
They can find it on the iOS platform, App Store. They just search for Seta Meditate. Hopefully, we're the first one top of the chart that shows up, or they can go to setameditate.com. And we have a button that's almost everywhere. It says "Get My Challenge," and then they can just start with their mental health assessment, and then we guide them through the process of the next steps.
I'm curious, which core metrics are you most focused on right now? Like downloads, retention, engagement time, and how do you balance data with deeper measures of impact in the app?
Yeah, our main focus from our launch, it will be my apology, will be the download metric. And then from the download, the next goal is now retention. Are we able to bring 15 minutes time to the user? So once we bring in the download and then the signups, our next goal would be retention. Is our main goal of bringing people 15 minutes of mental health time to the user meditation time is that actually happening? And what do we need to do to improve it? Is there anything that we're missing, any bugs?
I'm curious, where do you want Seta Meditate to be 6 to 12 months from now?
Yeah, we see ourselves first, launching, what we have right now, and then just adding supporting features, for example, adding your friend and variety of, challenges to our platform. And for the next 6 months, we'll be focusing a lot more on marketing and expanding and bringing as much as users that we can to the platform and seeing how we can, impact people's lives in that 6 to 12 months. And then the goal is eventually we get to the next product revision that we have along the roadmap as well.
Thanks. So you might be developing another product.
Yeah, and I'll give you a little bit insight just what the vision is, and we don't know exactly ourselves until we launch, what we have right now. So our goal is to get into physical and nutrition health afterwards. After we make one successful service, our next goal is now to build a good habit for the nutrition side and then the physical side.
Honestly, that those three core elements, movement, mindset, nutrition, have been the kind of the cornerstones of the work that I've done for the past 15 years. And I think when you have all three of those pillars, that really leads to an amazing result for prevention and for just really optimizing health, optimizing performance. So it totally makes sense that that's your next step.
Yeah, and our goal is, to make the mind. Our big vision is to make the mind, body, and the food side, all working for someone that comes to Seta Meditate, or and Seta in general. And then, if someone has a great mind, a great body, and a great nutrition, they can kind of achieve anything they want in their life. They can, whatever their goal is, in performance or being a next big CEO, they can do that a lot easier when they have the right mindset, nutrition, and fitness, which is a huge part about your daily body operation.
Yeah, I kind of see this as like a definitely a next level up from most of the meditation apps that I've seen. It seems like it's more niche for high performers, people that really want to dedicate time to making like
Yeah.
going through the challenges. Like obviously that's going to attract a high performer. I'm
Yeah.
curious about the content strategy. I took a look at your Instagram. You guys have quite a few followers, a very large following so far. How do you imagine the content strategy? Like how are you attracting your ideal client or ideal user? Like what is the message behind the content? If you could comment on that.
Yeah. The message behind our social media content, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. So we're focusing on creating a lot of podcasts and POV videos, which kind of is a direct connection with me, the founder, and our co-founder Minnie, with the audience. So we're gonna have a lot of, memes and funny content just to, get some attraction. But eventually, when we do get attraction, our goal is to connect, our message with the user. And that's just, me or our Minnie, our co-founder, kind of talking directly on the camera what we're trying to do and get people to the mental health assessment and their journey with the app.
Thanks. Have you guys started the podcast? And if so, what's it called? How can we find it?
Yeah, it's called Set a Meditate Podcast, How to Build Mental Fitness. We're launching actually our first episode in the next few days, and we have a lot of episodes planned out. And it's basically me and my co-founder sitting and just talking about, mental health, mental fitness, how challenges of starting an app and a good company, working together. It's just, daily kind of struggle that we face and also the benefits that we have too, with being part of Set and Meditate.
Nice. I think the long form content piece is really, really key, especially when you're positioning your brand as a thought leader and as, people need to be able to connect to longer form content too. Will the podcast be inside the app too, or is it separate?
We're actually planning to add it in the app as well in our explore page at the bottom a little bit. We'll have a podcast button where it kind of there's a page where it has our podcast, but it will
Nice.
be on YouTube and it'll be on Spotify as well.
Cool.
And the great, if someone is an entrepreneur watching this, the great thing about podcasts is that you can take podcasts and take long form and take them into small, short form pieces for marketing. And that is really key for, having a lot of content on different platforms.
Yes, and we didn't even go into this, but Nima, you have a background in video production,
Yeah.
right? I think that's a big reason why your content is so dialed.
Yeah, just to kind of, talk about video production. But and during, the journey of Seta Meditate, initially it was Seta Flow, and then the name changed to Seta Meditate. During the whole process, we had some, funding challenges, and we needed to kind of work on a way that we can bring in more funding to build a team. And starting a video production company help us boost our funding, and that was one of the big key pieces. What we're doing right now is that we had a lot of experience with video production and the video side and whole content creation, which kind of helps with marketing side.
Absolutely. The higher level the content is and the higher production it is, I think that just it leads to a better user experience because it's an app that's on your phone and people value the aesthetic and the feel and the, audio and visuals.
Yeah, and one of the most important thing is if you want to create, really amazing content, is just focus mainly on the audio and the video editing part. The camera, you don't need to spend thousands of dollars on a camera. As long as you have a good audio and a good editing, those two will go very well and hand to hand.
Absolutely. I have been coaching yoga teachers to build their own online courses, and I use the Rode wireless mic too. I
Yeah,
don't
I
know if you're
have.
familiar. It's a
Yeah.
game changer. You can just plug it straight into an iPhone. It's crazy. Yeah,
Yeah.
quality is key. So to close our conversation, firstly, I want to ask where you think you mentioned a couple of the places that we can find your work, but are there any other places that you want to share just to bring people directly to the app?
I think there's just one journey, and that's to get a mental health assessment from Seta Meditate, and you can get that on setameditate.com, or if you download the app, the onboarding does give you that as well. So either journeys user takes from the website or the app, you will get a mental health assessment. From that, you will have a personalized challenge you can start. Yeah.
Perfect. And if you could gift every person on earth one inner experience through Set and Meditate, what would it be and why does that matter now more than ever?
Yeah. One advice I would give to everyone is spend 50 minutes practicing meditation per day. And with that, you will build mental resilience. You will build an armor for your brain. And that's what separates, for example, Kobe Bryant from an average NBA player. That's the difference between he can control his mind. We all have a body, we all have strength, but he has the mind power, the Mamba mentality, he calls it. And I would say just spend 15 minutes training your mind every day.
I love that you tied that into resilience because I think in this day and age, being resilient is a really key factor to optimizing performance and success.
Exactly.
Well, thank you so much, Nima, for spending some time with us on Aligned Impact. I'm so excited for the app and all the places that you're going, and I look forward to hearing more about it and staying in touch.
Thank you. And I'm looking forward to seeing this up as well.
Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Aligned Impact. I'm truly grateful to have you here in this growing community of leaders, innovators, and conscious change makers. Check the show notes for all the links and resources we mentioned today, and you can explore more of my work and programs over at FlowShala.com or connect with me on social media at Summer Huntington and YouTube as well for behind the scenes movement inspiration and business tips. Stay tuned for more episodes of Aligned Impact that inspire you to lead with intention, get empowered, and create aligned impact in your life and your community.